In every session, learn how to budget the time, at the same time the resources, okay? And there's something that I do. I manage my time. Okay, can you put this down? Manage your time, manage your energy. That's very important in tutoring and teaching. The time given to you, you must learn how to design it. At the same time, allocate the activities so that you can maximize. Example, if you can deliver the lessons in a maximum time, then don't overdo it. Because there's such a thing as a situation wherein the brain will not easily anymore overload. At the same time, you should know what is called as flexibility of variation. That is why, from time to time, I would like that you prepare a sample lesson plan. Para may idea mo, then I can coach you how you can improve it. Because I also teach special children. I teach PGS, grade school and high school. I teach college here, but I also teach professionals, human resource managers and developers in space. Okay? I am used to all kinds of people, including criminals, because I've handled some of them. I'm used also to including respondents in similar cases like JC. Okay? May mga lalaking umiiyak sa harap namin. Okay? Alam ni JC, but we cannot tell you. Sa iba doon, naglalala, okay? But we have to make decisions objectively. Because we have to be professional. Okay? You may be tutors, but you still have to be acting professionally. Right? So, we'll start with an icebreaker. Can you stand up? Okay, there should be a person in front of you. Okay? Turn to the right. Dapat may tao na nasa harap. Okay? Hindi magkaharap. Dapat magkatalikod. Of course, you know what this is, okay? Dapat continuous. Ano yan magkatalikod? Dapat magkatalikod ka, okay? So in that case, alright, alam mo kung kaya massage. Okay, massage the person. Next, after massage, kiliti. May kiliti, malandi. Okay, next, baliktad. Okay? Pretend. Kiliti naman. Alright, the first question I'm going to ask you is, when do you do tutoring? Because it's required. It's required, right? Kung hindi required, gagawin niyo ba ito? You'd rather do something else. Like try to get the highest grade so that you can maintain the scholarship and graduate with honors. Okay, that's a good one. Okay? But we're changing mindsets in this case. Kasi ganito we are given gifts. Remember the parable of the talents? The Bible? The master gave talents to some of his servants. Yung iba, itinago under the rock. Yung iba naman, ginamit. Yung iba naman, they multiplied. And what did the master do? He was angry at the person na nabigyan niya ng gift, pero tinago. And I want you to see this, okay? Your intelligence is in gift. So what we're going to do is nurture the gift. Okay? Because it will make us happy. It is a source of pride, not only for ourselves, but our families. However, when we have a gift when we share that, we become happier. And I want you to see this perspective because I'm also changing mindset. That's for that reason that I think I have some talent. For that reason, I do volunteer work. I've been a volunteer teacher at BGS, special education for the past 7 years. Okay? I never get tired. Okay? Because I realize it's a gift. And I'm so thankful for my blessings. And one of the things that you can do to show your appreciation is spread it. And I hope you have that kind of mindset. As of now, it's work. But it's like this because as a career advice, during my time, walang penalty. Kasi sa time namin, dapat may title. Yung father namin, forward looking. So ako naging lawyer, ang sunod sa amin, pumunta sa BA, sunod namin engineer sa Latorre. How come? At that time we were young, 16, we have no idea as to what we wanted in our life. And we didn't have career advice. And this career advice, I keep on encountering only the 90s as a lawyer, that you must identify your passions, what you love doing, and you should build your life and career around it. Then, according to the Chinese philosopher, find something that you love to do and you will never work for the rest of your life. So in my case, what I like is the fact that I'm being paid for something that I love doing, which I can even do for free. Okay? So start developing and identifying what are the things that you are happy with. And then build your life and career around it. Secondly, recognize your gifts. That's the Ogal Cassett principle. Okay? Focus on your strength. However, develop, become an expert. When you become an expert, don't stop there. Go to the next level. Otherwise, it will plateau, stagnates. So you have to go harder. Those experts, for instance, in the United States, they continue even in that way. They continue on doing a lot of things. Okay? And one thing, based on research on positive psychology, it's based on pleasure, it's based on passion, it's based on purpose. Yung pleasure, things that we love to do, for instance, music, cooking, being with friends. Yung passion, the things that unless doon, you will still do it even if you are not able. Okay? Yung purpose, you share that with others. Because according to research, the brain for man's wiring is really geared for what you call as benevolence. If you share that, you will become happier. I'm scared. And I'd like you to have that kind of mindset. That is for that reason, this guidepost is really having a thing, do it, but not much. Okay. And to make it easier, what you should do is remember that there is a science behind it. Yung science is that you can do it anytime. Same principle, it will give you the same output. Same output. For instance, you combine 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 of oxygen, and you produce water. Okay, yun ang science. Okay, what you should do is remember what is the science in teaching so that you can apply that in any scenario. However, take note that there is a question here. First is a science, okay, which is there are certain principles. However, take note that even if you know the technique, you have to know all techniques because what works for one will not necessarily work for the other. And that is now an art. Because you may know the science, but what works in a particular situation, a particular person, or in a scenario, you will be the one who will gauge what works best. And then that builds expertise. Follow. Maybe you encounter some teachers where how come he's so good all of the time? Because he knows the science and he knows how to adjust to every scenario. So teaching is a combination of science and arts. Is clear? Okay? So that is one thing that we will have to remember. It will also keep us humble. Be humble, okay? Even if, let's say, we are very good, take note that developing the technique, applying the science, and using when it is applicable is an art. We follow. Okay, so always be open. Because it could be what worked for a student before will not necessarily work for your teacher. When we become professionals, there's a thing called coaching and mentoring. It's a form likewise of teaching. You going to become the president of the company because I want you to think big. And I want you to think 10, 15, or 20 years from now. You must have that kind of mindset, piece of teaching. When you become the president of the company, take note you will be training people under you who are junior and who may not have experience. You also utilize tutoring for training there because there are certain principles you learn. Don't have the idea that you're doing this only to take note. Later on, you will become parents. You will become managers. You will become owners of companies and therefore learn also how to train people under you. Right here. Okay? So this is the thinking. You have to share that. You will become coming out happier because that's under the parable of the talents. Okay, so let's take about this one. Okay. Okay. So another thing that you have to remember is that we have a technique called Kunama. We plan beforehand. That's what I'm telling you. So from time to time, maybe I will drop by SLC. Hopefully, you will systematize this. Hindi yung bara-bara, okay? Yung whatever goes. One way of professionalizing is you develop a system so that you can transfer that to another person. Remember, you will be graduating. It should be that you should be able to train the next batch of scholars. And in the process, what you have already experienced and learned will be passed along. And that will spread. Because remember, when you teach somebody, you arm him for life. Hindi ito limos. Pag bigyan mo ng pera, mawawala yan kasi mabubos. Pag tinuro mo siya ng skill, it's a lifetime. That's fair. Okay. So I want you likewise to think the system. This is very basic. Kunama. So it's systematic in the teach. First, you have a topic. And then, second, you have an objective. What is the purpose? Then, we also assess your duty. And what does it mean? Right? So it's systematic. And then, what are the activities that are needed? Because remember, it's just not teaching. It could be you'll be asking to do something. It could be role playing when necessary. And then you have to have what is called as materials. Don't have the idea that always need expensive years. No, I want you to be resourceful. And the last part, do not forget assessment. And assessment, you try to evaluate. Did you achieve the objective? Did he learn something new? And likewise, part of your assessment is yourself. Was your technique effective? So in the process, you always think. At the same time, you always assess not only your duty but also yourself. And you expand your horizons. You become richer. That's fair. Okay, so this is systematic, you do this. Next one. Okay, so here is a sequence that you can also follow. Okay. The first one is the lesson plan. So that ang kalalaman sa ito hindi para-para. There's a technique. What I would advise you, every time there's a new lesson, do that sequence. Okay? How come? Because you have to prepare beforehand. It cannot be that when you teach, you're only one chapter ahead. Develop an expertise. Okay? And when you start, you can do this. assessment because I assume that you did disobedience. Then you go to what is called as the guided learning. Guided learning has a lot of, you're not limited really to telling him or lecturing. You can do a lot of activities. What you think best. You have lecture, discussion, practice. Why is it guided? Because you are the one who has the advanced information or advanced knowledge. You're teaching him. So it's guided. But the thing is, you don't stop there. You go to the next one. Independent learning. You should try to develop that on his own, he will be able to recite and master the lesson now after we guide him. Okay? Then you end. This is sequence when you do tutoring. This is one suggested sequence. So closure, for instance, you try to summarize. And then you try to, usually here, you try to find out, okay, what do you remember about what we did? So it's no longer about what is the definition. Because usually in memory, you try to recall what stuck. It sticks to it, that's your assessment that he has learned something. Okay, so this is sequence. You have a lesson plan, grammar, and then when you teach, you can do this. Okay, introduction. So for instance, what were the previous lessons? You try to connect, and then you start a new lesson guided because you're the expert. He doesn't know anything yet. And after that, he must be able to do it on his own. Eventually, for instance, if you decide. Or when you test it, for instance, what happens if this is a situation? Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, I am a teacher of Bustos. I don't know if you're taking Busto 1. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Busto 1, there are 5 sources of obligation. Let's guess: law, contracts, quasi-contracts, quasi-delicts, and delicts. There are 5. I think we don't really work with that. Okay? Then in that case, I discuss first the lesson before we get to the examples. Right? Then, to make it independent learning, what I do is I come up with situations. When I teach, I do not require, or as much as possible, I do not want him repeating the same examples that I give. Otherwise, it will just be a test of memory. Rather, what I do is I give him a new situation and test whether he can apply the concepts. Because what I'm teaching him is pattern recognition. See the point? So, for instance, my example will be what happens in school. What are the sources of obligation which you can find in school? See? That's my discussion. And then test. Then the exercise will be, alright, what if you are at MOA? What are the sources of obligation? So he gets the concept, what is the law there, what is the contract, what is the delict, and it's a new scenario. So you can test that he is able to get the concept because it is now a different case, different situation from what you have been telling him. But he was able to retain the concept and apply that in new scenario. You should also do that kind of study because I really encourage you to do that. So this will happen. When I discuss the concept first conceptually, then I give scenarios, for example, so you can remember. Okay? In the exercises, I change the scenario because I'm checking for pattern recognition, not plain memory. In the examination, when I give, it's a different scenario now. So I check what if it happens on the real update run. See? So you check this understanding the concept, not merely the memory. Otherwise, if you use the same example, well, it's still alright. But you encourage him to give new examples because that is how pattern recognition. Right, clear? Sequence. Next. Right. I start with the concept that the learner is not coming from zero. Because it could be, he may have learned that before, not necessarily in classroom. It could be also learned that or gain something new from movies, from TV, from newspaper, from his personal experiences, because it could be the family is into that line of business. test what does he know. Okay? So you're introducing something new. Then you combine what he knows before and the new one that you're introducing to him. So in that case, you add a layer of knowledge. That's a big thing. Because usually I do not assume that he knows nothing. But rather, there's a background, there's something that he knows. And that is the clue. Based on what he knows, I build from that. Alright, because one of the techniques in teaching is we should try to start the material based on what he knows and connect from there. Okay, I'll give an example. I'm assigned to teach algebra from time to time. One of the problems when I teach algebra at high school in media is that students are used to computing 1 plus 1, then those things. Then you now introduce polynomials, binomials, ax plus 4y, and there are principles there. One of my more difficult areas is when I now go to word problems. I think some of you may have encountered some of that difficulty. How come? Because it's a new technique, abstraction. Remember abstraction? How do you say this in combination of letters and words? So based on that, what I do is I try to come first with a lesson based on what he knows. This is how I do it. So 30x plus 25y. That's the binomial, right? So to make sure that people understand the new concept, I try to connect that to what he knows. So what does a high school student geography? Right? So what examples? Right? Think of this. Ano yung presyo ng Jollibee? It's like 25 or 30. Okay? So, yung presyo ba ng Jollibee hamburger, pareho lang kung nasa Caloocan ka o nasa Las Piñas. So, din ang bata, yes. Jollibee. Sa Jollibee burger. Yung same burger, ang pinakamurang burger, pareho lang presyo, di ba? Sabi ko sa mga bata. Then I said, ilabing bumibili ng hamburger sa Jollibee sa Caloocan. Pareho ba ang number of people every day? No. Then in that case, it becomes X. That is your variable. See? Constant yung price. However, yung X is the variable. Kasi una, iba-iba yung number of people who buy Jollibee branch. Then, yung isa, hotdog, iba yung price. Then, since may iba yung number of people who buy that, then it also becomes a variable. See? So, kung in-introduce ang kanya yung concept based on what he knows, then I added a new component which is the binomial. So, nakuha niya ito. Although, sometimes there will be some people who will be quick, and there will be some who will take some time. Especially since some of them are mentioned as special students, special children. But it doesn't matter because your technique now is to find out what is suited best. You call that constructivist. You design a lesson based on his background, based on his interest. So here, by learning, and you learning, then you will result in additional or new knowledge. That's one technique that you can utilize. Okay? Any questions? If you think you have any questions, how would I teach blah blah blah? Maybe I can share with you. I'm not going to guarantee I can answer all of them, but at least it will open the mindset. Because I'm introducing you an approach. Okay? But first, be systematic. Up to now, lesson plan. So from time to time, I will be checking, okay, do you have a lesson plan? Okay, so that pag mamasa mo nito, then in that case, you can think of other activities. Right, next. Right. Another principle in teaching is get the balance. Do not make it so hard. If you do, the student will be frustrated. And just imagine, I think, some of the lessons that you find so hard, you are not getting anything. Do not make it so easy. That is, you already knows that, otherwise you will be bored. That's fair. Or some of you will not be listening in some other classes. alam mo na eh. Diba? So, how do you mix it? Kayo yun ang titimpla mo. Because una, gagawin nyo, background niya. Tapos, i-check mo rin. Doon pumapasok ang expertise. And when you regularly do it, you become better. That is why we have doctors. Basically, makita ka pa lang na idea na siya. Okay? Based on what we cross-test that with symptoms. That's there. So, that is the beauty of Jude. Because you're giving something forward, you're paying forward, this is a gift you're sharing it. And secondly, you acquire additional skills. People, not everyone can be a teacher. In fact, not all teachers can be special education teachers. I just discovered that I have that gift. So what I'm doing is spreading it. I've been teaching at PGS 7 years away, but I get something back, and it's called psychic income. Walang katapat yan. It's priced by psychic income. And I think this is one of your motivations. You're able to help another person, that person learns about even if you're not getting paid, you have payment called psychic income. You acquire this skill, at the same time you feel good. And the more that you do it, the better it is. Okay, this should be one of your motivations. Okay, next. So remember, ano yung timpla? Not so hard, not so easy. Kayo magtitimpla nun. Huwag mahirap na hindi niya maintindihan, otherwise frustrated siya. Huwag naman madali, kasi otherwise you will get bored. I think you know that yourself, diba? Your scholars, you can also gauge. Minsan you're bored with the teacher. Because hindi marunong magtimpla yung teacher. Okay, next one. When you deliver, there are certain techniques. Okay? Kayo rin magtatansya what works best. I think you're familiar with this. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. That's clear. So I'll give an idea, right? Let me be resourceful and creative, for instance. What I do is like this, right? Math, for instance. I was teaching in grade school. 6 plus 1, then kasi muna, practice yan. Pag sabi, 6 plus 1 times 8, wala yan, right? So we play games. Like, the boat is sinking. It needs 6 plus 1 minus 3 persons. Ito sila mas magkakabulan. So I was able to use combination of auditory and kinesthetic. That's clear. Okay? Tapos, minsan naman, tutulong ako sa parang shelter. Okay? Okay, pag-level. Okay? Then, mali. Game. Because I use play. Parang game lang siya. Kasi then, they're learning something new. Tapos, may element of fun. Kasi una may pressure. Pero ang gentle pressure lang. Alright? Ang mali, gagawa ng consequence. Otso-otso. Kasi yung forward demerits, mali. So there is a little bit of gentle pressure so that the same time magawin yung matatawa siya. So technically, it's not a punishment, but something which is fun. Okay? And for that, you have to establish rapport with other. Remember, you have to be an expert so that you will have what is called as credibility. So dapat yung papasok ang lesson plan. Tapos you have to have coordinations kung paano yun. And how will you do it? Here's the thing. I cannot give you all the answers because you also have to use your brains. That is the reason why you have brains. Okay, remember? The parable of talents, multiply, increase, don't hide it under the rug. Otherwise, the master will get angry at you. Okay? So next. Okay? Modeling. May modeling na passion modeling na. Okay, so for instance, how do you do it? You show it. Okay, quotation, for instance, or expression, or writing. Then, we also do play, games. Scaffolding. You can think if you haven't to scaffold, it is a mali. So, I don't say, oh, no, you never do that. Because remember, you have to establish the learning situation as something which is welcoming, at the same time secure. Remember, sabi ng research, if it's a terror-filled situation, the brain is spending more energy on making the person secure. Self-defense, being protected, instead of putting the energy on the learning or cognitive part. So, scaffolding yung ginagawa ko. Pag yung makuha Gumagawa. Maybe try that one. Eh, what kung dagdagan mo ng one? Say, hindi mo sinasabing sagot. Sa kanya, you're just guiding him. Tawag doon, scaffolding. From the concept, diba, yung building, the scaffold. So, yun is a technique for teaching. Don't give him the answer, otherwise, spoon feeding yan. But rather, lead him to the answer. Kasi remember, there are some people who can easily answer. There are some who will have difficulty. There will be some people who have problems reading a long paragraph, but there will be some people who will have to adjust. Doon papasok ang expertise mo kasi kung natatatan sa inyo. Parang pagka magiging expert na kayo, the long time and a half you will age. Kaya ako, the long time that I've been dealing with people, I have an idea, remember, from a picture ako, sayo ko ng selfie. Sayo ko rin ng selfie stick. Okay? Pero I have a previous student who went to Europe, and I've learned this is picture. Basta ka-shades. Ang labas para siyang ulap. Sadly, he was not using the rule of thirds. Because it's the same. Remember, you have one variation. Hindi pwede dyan may araw-araw yung baga. Okay? Gusto nyo yung picture niya. My God, it's from the Czech Republic. My God, it's from Islava, it's from Fatima. Walang masalang nagla-likes. Nagla-like. Kasi naka-shades pa. Parang marami na lang sa expression. I mean, I could teach him, for instance, do something like that. We have time, okay? I'll show you some of my pictures on Facebook, okay? But it's my policy, if you're a student, I don't accept you. I don't accept students when they are on their last year, because I really maintain what is called as a professional distance. Because I don't always like markada. No, you have to maintain a distance. Professional distance is already here. Okay? Smart guessing, like I was telling you. Okay? I heard smart guessing. How come? I think some teachers are used to getting only the correct answer, or being correct on the first try. I have some questions about that. We're not encouraging the students to think. Kasi matatakot eh. Okay, if his answer is wrong on the first try, agad, nasisita. What we do is smart guessing. It's kind of smart guessing. Because a lot can be answered, for instance, combining previous knowledge, new information, what you've seen on TV, even imagination. Because creativity is like that. You must be able to get a lot of ideas. And it is your turn on how you can make it follow a certain path. Okay? You can also use pairs or groups, especially if you're teaching more than one. Right. Is it unfair to others or advance and you're asking him to teach? No. Actually, is strengthening what he knows. The other one is also being up. But you don't do it all the time. Tatansahin mo kung kailan visible or visible. Okay? Alright, take note of Bloom's taxonomy. Have you encountered this in CSP Life? You listed? Okay? Because take note when you're teaching, you should be aware that your question should be on the higher thinking skill. And right now, under Bloom's taxonomy is creation. Right? But this is my concern. I have not against teachers, okay? But this is a personal choice. If you're my student, you will never find me asking true or false or multiple choice or matching colors. Rather, I ask you to explain this one. What if you are at the airport? What will happen to the contact? How come? Those are higher thinking skills: analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Maybe I'll just give you this one. What's a great thing? Because this is I thought this was given to you in CSP Life. Some of you were introduced to this, some others were not. Because this may involve a different kind of session. This is too short for us to do. But I'll just give you an idea. When you teach, for instance, right? Let's say it's Philippine history. You usually, we were exposed in high school, dates, persons, all information. We were never taught in high school until I went to college. When did it happen? See? So it's reasoning. How come the revolution happened in 1896? What were the events before that? Which led to the outbreak. In fact, I even asked the question if I were to teach you that, what would have happened if, see, because you're now using imagination. So it's just hard thinking skill, not very requires 1898 or June 1946. See, but these are indeed lower skill elementary. But if you're using this, creating, evaluating, and analysis of it, which is better? This one or this one? Why? You're helping him try to come up with an answer based on judgment. Okay, also, for instance, you're in marketing. What if you're selling condoms? How would you market that in a lower class neighborhood? See, that's creation. Because you try to come up with something if there's a problem, but you help him come up with the use-based imagination using principles of marketing. Don't go to the marketing is high-pen, science. That's lower-end thinking. So what you should do is try to go for higher. That's the reason I like to see your lesson plan using Panama, and I can give you advice. I can coach you how it can also be marketing. Some of you may already know techniques. It could be some of you may have techniques that I do not know. Oh, this is I don't know about them. But I'm happy to share with you what I know. Okay, next one. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this is what you can do. So further improve your technique in tutoring. Okay. Prepare, practice, and reflect. There is research which shows based on, remember there's the Metro Bank Outstanding Teachers Award, and somebody made a research on what makes them outstanding. One of the common characteristics across this award is they were reflective teachers. They always think about what they were doing and how they were required to do. Okay, now teach you a technique for thinking. Actually, I just read about this by an article by Randy. Later when I was doing that, I came across a man who said that is just with reflection. I don't mind. Okay, every night as part of my meditation, I try to think of 4 things. I don't know if you're doing this already, because I'm sharing this with my students and teachers. Number 1, before I sleep, I try to find out. Take it right down number 1. What is something new I learned today? Okay. Number 2. What did I do that makes me proud? What did I laugh about today? I came across this in a column by got that from another philosopher. And later when I was doing it and I was talking to him, he said that it just with meditation thinking. Well, whatever, whether it's a sun brother or just with, it's very effective to me. And I hope you also do that so you can develop reflectiveness. for reflection. It's very simple. But take note, it keeps you grounded. At the same time, you learn, you value every day, and it gives you a sense of direction. Because remember the first one, you're always looking for something new, something new to learn. And it's not necessarily academic. It could also be something practical, like how you're able to make another person comfortable in your presence. Okay. Number two, what is it that makes me proud? It's because you did something which is productive, or something that you were able to be exerted. Number three, it is something wherein you have gratefulness. Okay, you don't just waste things. Number four, it's something that it's the best medicine. You must always love that's available. Develop a sense of gratefulness. Okay, so these are our features. Okay. When you are doing these things, writing, producing, acting, and directing, that's how you do your tutoring actually. You have a script, actually a lesson plan, follow, and then you produce those things. Actually, it's a form of show business on your part. And then how do you present the lesson? You're being a showman. Then how do you get participation? In that case, you're also a director. Then you're doing this because it is part of your passion. What is there? Remember, you're making an impact. You're being productive. And at the same time, you're not being reactive, but rather proactive. Okay? And when you produce something different, you create something, it is a source of pride. You can do that as part of your reflection for that day. Secondly, when you create and share value, then you're exercising a sense of purpose. You're creating value. Yes, you're creating a material. How's here? And then are you sharing it? Yes, you're great. You're very good. You have mental abilities, but you're sharing that to another person who needs it. And for that reason, you are having a sense of purpose. You are making an impact on another person. And you are creating value. So, based on research in the psychology of happiness, there are three: pleasure, which you like doing it, for instance, eating or being with friends, even Facebook. But there are two higher things that we actually do, which is passion. You like what you're doing. Second, purpose. You share with others what you have. And that basically makes you a happy person. And if you continuously do it, then in that cases, instead of being a passive person, you create something. Right? I made it short so that you will just get it. There's one thing that is not there. Can you add this? Because this is an old version, right? There's a new version that I made. I put the wrong version, right? There's something there which says, I have the picture of a snake. Okay, I have the picture of a snake. And take note that once that there is, deliver it in chunks, the lesson. How can I put the snake there? If you do not subdivide the lessons, it becomes overwhelming. At the same time, you also deliver it based on the pace we're in. There will be no information overload. How will you do it? That's technique. You will have to learn it. That is why I like to see your lesson at least now. Okay? Then I will coach you, okay, you can do this. Maybe I will also learn something from you. Because remember, what I do is, I haven't thought of that before, that's very good. Because that's part of creativity, when you come up with something. Okay, any question? Any question? So our approach here is developmental. Then on that basis, I think I will try to see you from time to time at SLC. For example, there's 6 days a week. And then we also plan, Yayan and the others, at the end of one term, we will also try to get your assessment. Because we must continuously, and a lot of that will be based also on what are your reflections. Okay? So I also say you will be thinking of what are the ways that you can do as part of the work. Alright, maybe it's like this, okay? Auditory and visual extending. This is the wrong. Give me 10 minutes, last one. This is the wrong version of the guidelines. Step by step. It's a principle in pedagogy. So how will you put that in sequence? Use your expertise. I can give you suggestions on how you go to different lessons. For example, when I was teaching algebra, I'll start with the basic algebraic expression operations. Because remember, add, subtraction, multiplication, and division of algebraic expressions. May rules yan. Ginagamit ko rin ang basic rules. Kaya lang, inundan na siya ng mga letters. Okay, next one. Right, there's another technique that we can do. Kasi earlier, nabigay ko sa inyo, review, value learning, then we come. There's another technique. Explain, ask, listen, reinforce. You can use either technique, okay? Because the beauty of teaching is that there are a lot of principles. What you should do is choose one which is appropriate. Okay? Right, basically just said, right, and another one, this is yung sinasabing visual, auditory, kinesthetic. I give examples of what can be done visually, what can be done auditorily, and what can be done kinesthetically. Okay, so here. This is auditory. You're using the sound as a primary method. You can combine both of them. Okay, halimbawa, okay, to make sure that he knows the elements, for instance, the formula for computing income tax of a person. Okay, so ganyan, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, para mastery. And what I do is I do quiz. Because it should be the first time alam niya. Second time na second time na yan. I said, okay, we have a quiz. The third time we will be assigning it. Which means you go to mastery. So to make it fun. So I say, step 1, morals. And after that, it goes, okay, step 2, step 3, pag mali, consequence. Right? Tapos minsan, gawin ko dyan, make exciting. Step 3! Okay, don't stay. Alright? Or minsan gawin ko, square root of 16. 4 yun, step 4. Then, 5 times 3 minus 9. Pag wala, kasi sa ko, those things, wala tayo. Magpaka-aesthetic. Then sometimes, the number of vowels in the word gusto. Isa naman kinuha. Yung ilan na anak, isang kinos. No, you have to look at this one. Sometimes, the number of girlfriends you already have. See, right? And sometimes, kanina sa klase, the number of boys you have rejected already. That's one. Because you combine auditory and kinesthetic. Di ba? Yung device rates. Kaya gusto ko kanina, 3 na pala na-reject niya. Or sometimes, I do something fun like the number of times you have used shabu. Okay, visual learning is something like this. Some techniques of visual learning kasi wala nakikita. Right? What you're doing is you're making the experience more memorable, so he tends to remember the concept or material. Okay, another one will be kinesthetic, not body. Alright? Moves and gestures as expressions and body actions. Okay, you can also use spacing and rhythm, whatever other process, standpoint and move, meetings and games. These are examples, okay? This is not exhaustive. So you also have to be creative in trying to find new techniques. So it will be fun. And then last one. Alright, I'll share with you, I think aside from Blues taxonomy, take note that there is what you call as Dale's own experience. Right, like this, okay? Take notes. How much do you remember based on studies? 10% if you read it. Okay? 20% if you hear it. They tend to remember if you see it or watch videos. Okay? And 50% if you attend exhibits or watch a demonstration. 70% if you do it yourself. Design collaborative lessons. Another percent simulation, design and presentation to the real thing. Which means what? If you let them do it themselves, they tend to remember rather than just reading. And this is based likewise on other findings. So what I do is I'm going to provide you maybe with Bloom's taxonomy and Dave's own experience. What makes for more effective tutoring or teaching techniques? Lastly, slides. Right? Give explanations clear, minimal and to the point. Ask the learner to summarize or recap using his own words. Because even use his own words to try to find out whether he is able to interpret and translate himself. Okay, guide learner to answer by your questions. Remember, this is what we call the scaffolding. Okay, this is part of visual and auditive or kinesthetic learning. Okay, it cannot be that we will be always. We will always be the one giving us. No. Teach him technique or strategies so that he will also become an independent learner. Okay? Then directions, other than giving him the answers. Enjoyable. And then just enough. Okay, remember also the technique. Not too hard, not too easy. Okay, dated line niyan, alright? Last one was an encouragement. Okay, when do you volunteer? Because it's required. Go bigger than that, okay? One, you create value. You give an impact to another person and also to the school or institution. You make a difference. Okay? And maybe that is one thing which will give you second income when you make a difference. Using your own abilities and your gifts. You're honoring the creator, what gave you the gift. At the same time, another person will be blessed by what you're doing. Okay? Thank you. And then you are more discouraged and inspired to do your work, not because it's required due to your scholarship, but it is something of or a way of paying forward. Okay?
So on behalf of the Student Learning Center in Samarga, I would like to thank Atty. Jude Latorre for being with us today and sharing us some knowledge about self-esteem and some teaching guidelines that will surely help us in the future. And let us not also forget Miss Yanto, Miss Kelsey, and Miss Malan for being with us the whole day, ensuring that we are enjoying this workshop. We're looking forward to meeting you again. Again, thank you and God bless you all.
I thank you.
Thank you.
Parang beauty contest. I thank you very much.